Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
And I have Discord, YouTube, and Twitch pulled up. So
I have them pulled up too, but oh man, we live. Okay, here we
we're
go.
live.
I didn't even notice. Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? Give us 1 second. We're gonna be setting some stuff up. But yeah, today we're doing an AMA on the high voltage auction house. This is gonna be the main utility that we've been talking about with voltage and everything like that. So One moment. We'll let a few more people in, and then we can get started. But yeah, if you guys have questions, post them in YouTube, Twitch, or the outside chat in High Voltage World. The AMA is going to be at the very end. But yeah, we're going to do a reveal on what exactly this utility is.
You already got a question. Ask you where Kirby is.
Where's my Kirby? I'm actually not in that room. I'm in my office now. So yeah, no beanie this time too. I think this is the first AMA I have not had my beanie on. But I think that's pretty good. We have everyone here. So we're just going to start. This is recorded. So if you missed this, then you're going to be probably watching it later. All right. So let's do a recap of exactly what happened this week. It was a pretty wild week. And the biggest thing was the HVW Citizens Mint. So the whole purpose of the Citizens was to meet these four objectives, which was increase our holder diversity because our entry point to the collection was only 0.2 SOL with 1554 in the collection. So, we have a lot of new faces on the server. It gives a face to the brand because our main collection, HVW, is a piece of land. You can't really rep, a piece of land. So these, PFPs are a way for you guys to express yourself and, see other people in the community. It gives a sample of the Voltage ecosystem. So your citizens are able to stake. Staking is not live just yet, but you guys will be able to stake your citizens for 10 Voltage each, versus the main collection, which is much more than that, but it gives a taste of what the Voltage ecosystem brings. And they have their own unique utility, which is the expeditions. You can send your dudes on expeditions to earn Voltage merch, NFTs, and we're also going to reveal some more unique utility about the citizens in this AMA. So with the Citizens Mint, we sold out in 5 minutes. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy to us that, that thing got slammed through so quickly. But yeah, we sold out in 5 minutes on our first day. We achieved a lot of feats. We 2x our floor price the first day. It went from 0.2 to 0.4 really quickly. And we were one of the best performing mints of the day. We beat out a lot of mints in terms of performance. We had about 200 SOL worth of volume that day on a 0.2 NFT. 0.2 Solana NFT, so that's really impressive. Hundreds of transactions, I think, nearly 500 transactions on the first day, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, the same day we also gained 2K Twitter followers. It was a huge day for us on every metric. And finally, we were in the top 5 of most searched SOL Rarity NFTs, beating out even Mindfolk Pirates. So yeah, I think we were number 4 that day when we minted. So yeah, a lot of eyes were on High Voltage that day. A lot of tension happened, and we did some pretty impressive stuff. But the mint wasn't like completely amazing. We actually had candy machine issues where our first candy machine we were supposed to mint at on 420, and our free minters were supposed to go first, and they did, but they were able to mint infinitely on the candy machine. So what we did was, we closed down all the chats, stopped the mint completely, and then basically killed off the candy machine, and then we rebooted it about 5 hours later. So within the same day, we were able to fix our candy machine, relaunch the mint, and still sell out within 5 minutes. So a lot of people said that it was going to fail the mint, whatever, but the demand for High Voltage and the utility we're bringing is definitely there. It did not matter. We made a new mint, so people could mint for it was kind of unfair that people were able to mint for free for a lot. We extend the mint from 420 to 421, and of that minted, only 125 were minted, and of the 125, 54 are owned by High Voltage. So yeah, with the Lost Citizens, we're still kind of uncertain of what's going on with them. Like we've made it clear that they will not have any utility. They're just a ceremonial piece of the history of High Voltage, but more answers on that will be coming sometime. We don't know. Like the Lost Citizens are kind of like, they are really lost. But here's how it should look like in your Phantom if you had one. It should just say HVW Lost Citizen. And the reason why they're called Lost Citizens is actually because our world holders voted on what they were, to be called. And Lost Citizens won by a long shot. So staking, let's do a recap of what staking is. How does it work? So Socrates can take this on.
Yeah, so just to go over our basic staking system, which ties into our tokenomics. The first thing and the most important thing when it comes to our staking system is the yields that come from each NFT. So if you hold a Worlds NFT, so this is the high voltage Worlds collection, your staking is going to be based on the tier of your NFT. So you determine the tier of your NFT based on the mining warehouse asset, and you can see this in the top right of the slide. You have D, C, B, and A, and then the A tier yields 270 voltage a day. The B tier is 180 voltage a day. C is 120, and D is 80. Right. So each tier, as you move up the tiers, it's 1.5 times more than the lower tier. So C, as you can see, it's 40 more than 80. That's half of 80, so 1.5 times more, and then so on and so forth. And then for the citizens, it's every citizen generates 10 voltage per day besides the one of one NFTs. The one of one NFTs actually generate 270 voltage per day, and you can see the one of ones listed on the slide here. We have the Space Warrior, the Astronaut, the Mummy, Jumpman, Wizard, and the Alien. And all 6 of those do generate 270 voltage per day. And keep in mind, when you are staking your high voltage world citizens or the worlds themselves, you do not need a world to stake your citizens. We've had a lot of confusion about that. And also, the citizens asset inside the worlds do not mean anything in relation to staking. It's purely aesthetic. The only thing that means anything in relation to staking is the tier. Nothing else matters. So that's just a common confusion point to clear up here.
And with the staking system, since there are different levels of staking, it creates a pretty interesting game theory dynamic between the citizens and the world's NFT, where the worlds might be overvalued or undervalued versus the citizens, and the same with the citizens. So if you guys are looking at the collections as purely voltage and nothing else, then that introduces a lot of interesting game theory. But the citizens and the worlds, they both have unique utility on their own. And we're going to dive into that a little bit. But halving, and Socrates can take this too.
Yeah, so when it comes to our halving, so we're treating halving kind of like a slowing mechanism. It's not entirely deflationary because it doesn't remove things from circulation. It just makes it more difficult. So we've modeled our tokenomic system off of Bitcoin. So we start with a 21 million max supply, but with 0 supply in play at the beginning. Right, so every single token of voltage that comes into play must be staked for it to be entering the system. So it starts from nothing. And how our halving periods work is after every half of the supply that's remaining is mined, then the rate at which your NFT yields is halved. Right, so just for example. So with the 21 million max supply, once 10,500,000 is mined, the next 10,500,000 will take twice the amount of time to get. Right, so let's say it took 1 day to get to 10,500,000. It'll take 2 days to get to the next halving period. Right, so and it's just to this is just to elongate the lifespan of our token and give us more flexibility. And once everything does enter circulation, it just makes things a lot easier for us.
And keep in mind too, like with the staking rewards having every so often, the value of voltage is going to increase hypothetically, like Bitcoin. It's just due to it's more difficult to actually obtain it, as in print it essentially. So yeah, I mean we have a lot of Bitcoin-like-esque mechanisms working in our tokenomic system as well.
Yeah, and you can go to the next slide.
Oh, and also one more thing too. Our projected staking lifespan is 1 to 2 years, and we've modeled this as if everyone were to stake. And if everyone were to stake, it would actually be 1.6 years. But we're putting in 1 to account for the mechanisms we're putting in place with expeditions, as well as auction houses and all that type of stuff. So it's gonna be a 1 to 2 year span. It's kind of a long span, but a lot of things can change in terms of how voltage is yielding via expeditions and stuff like that.
Yep. And so this is a basic diagram, or not a diagram, but a chart kind of showing what the yields look like for each tier and how they play into the macro kind of scale of the situation. So as you can see, the 0 halving period, you have 270, 180, 120, 80, and then the next halving period that's halved. So 135, 90, 60, 40, then it's so on and so forth. As we go further into the lifespan of the voltage ecosystem, the staking yields less and less and less, giving more value to the voltage token. And you can see at the bottom of this chart here, it says days until cap. So we've projected at about 100% staking. So if everyone is staking, it's going to take about 100 days to hit each halving period. But whether or not we're not entirely certain about that, because we will be implementing other utility in the future. So this is going to be predominantly the upgrading system that might play a role into this. So it might make it shorter. It might make it. We might see things be longer than that because not enough people are staking, and so on and so forth. But with these projections, we do expect our tokenomics, at least the minting of the voltage token. It's not really minting, but the bringing the voltage into the system, that will take about 1.7 years before we lose that utility. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, and then finally, voltage in the auction house. Are you guys ready? This is going to be the utility that we're bringing with the auction house. So, some people have actually gone really close to figuring out what the auction house actually does, but this is something that's totally unique in the entire Solana ecosystem. Our big thing was daily auctions and Bitcoin mining. How do we do that? So this is exactly how. We're going to do rig runtime, RRT. That's what we like to call it. What does that mean? Holders can use voltage to bid on RRT rig runtime. So example of this is we have multiple rigs that people can bid on every single day. And an example rig is, let's say it's 15, 30, 90s, right? The rig runtime is 3 days. So people can use their voltage to bid on the equivalent Solana that rig mines. So let's say that rig mines $300 worth of Ethereum or something, or Bitcoin. We immediately convert that to Solana via the arbitrage bot we've already built in the past. And you guys get to bid on that, right? So yeah, with this mechanism, it allows for daily auctions, and we're going to explain more on how that happens. And it also makes it incredibly profitable for holders. And the auction winners get one of two things, or two things, sorry. It's going to be a one-of-one NFT, and we're going to discuss more about that later on this presentation as well. And they get the Solana equivalent of what is mined from the rig. Daily auctions using the rolling rig system, RRS, or RRS, and we're going to cover that. And currently, with the all the cash that we're sitting on right now, as well as the royalties and mint funds and all that stuff, we're going to be mostly purchasing GPU miners, and we're looking to expand more into ASIC miners later. And why are we doing this? So GPU miners right now are much more profitable for our holders, and it allows us to have a more flexible rig system, right? Because GPU miners are just much cheaper, and each rig we can slot in GPUs and stuff like that. And having GPUs, it allows us to it's going to be incorporated into our raffle system, which will also be, we'll be talking about that in a little bit as well. So here's some example rigs. One rig is going to be high return. So for example, let's say 15, 30, 90s and 5, 30, 80s. Second rig is going to be mid return. So like 10, 30, 90s, 3, 30, 80s. And then one rig is going to be low return, 5, 30, 90s, right? All different types of return. And yeah, so here is the rolling rig system, RRS. And this was created by me and Socrates can probably explain this a little bit better than me.
Yeah, so one key utility we really wanted to bring into the auction system was daily auctions, right? Because this is something that a lot of DAOs or competing DAOs or other things like that don't utilize. Most of the time they just put an auction live, it runs for 3 weeks, and you bid on it during that period. We think it would be a lot more engaging for our community to have these daily auctions and allowing for more voltage to exit the ecosystem, because we're able to have auctions more often. Oh, you just alt-tabbed.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, you're good. So how our rolling rig system works is that our rig times are staggered across a period of 3 days. And on the last day of each run time for each rig, we do the auction. So I have a diagram here for you to explain it a little bit easier.
Okay.
So you can see that rig 1 starts on Monday, and it will mine Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay. So the auction for the essentially the profits of rig 1 will occur all day Wednesday, and when it ends on Wednesday, the person who won that auction gets all of rig one's. Oh, my Amazon is just went
Your
off. I
Amazon,
apologize.
Alexa.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But the person would get all of rig one's runtime, and then the next day, Thursday, you can see that rig two actually started on Tuesday. Right, so rig 2 started on Tuesday, it went to Wednesday, and then the next day is Thursday. The auction on Thursday is all of rig 2's runtime. Rig 3 started on Wednesday. When it ran from Wednesday to Thursday, you bid on it on Friday. So each and every day, there's a new auction for effectively runtime. So it's a really cool, unique system. We've never seen people incorporate a system like this, so this is
never
something
been done to our knowledge. This has never been done. Yeah.
Yeah, and we think it's going to be really interesting for you guys to stay engaged, and to keep the flow of voltage going. There is room for expansion in the future. So if we say we want to add a 4th rig or a 5th rig or something like that, all we would do is add an additional rig and then have each rig run for, rather than 3 days, 4 days, right? So
Exactly.
it's a whole new system, and we can pump out consistent profits. And what's interesting about this is, you don't have to wait on the rig to mine. It mines before, right? So once you win the auction, you get the runtime, and then it's what's the word for it? Scalable. This is entirely scalable. The more rigs we have, the more we can do this, and because miners will be mining for longer, you'll just get more. The returns will be higher. So
Exactly.
it's pretty much infinitely scalable, and it's a really good. I think the business model is pretty cool.
So, for example, what he means by really scalable. So let's say we do get a 4th rig. All of the rigs are no longer mining for 3 days. They're all mining for actually 4 days. So the more it mines, the more days it mines, the more revenue it can generate. So yeah, this system, we're gonna be totally. The main goal for us is total automation for the system. We're still working on the automation with it. But like Socrates said, and I've mentioned before, this is a big thing we can do in this space that other DAOs and other projects can't do, is that we do have daily auctions. There's a mechanism to get everyone engaged every single day. It's a mechanism to take more voltage out of circulation, making your NFTs and voltage more valuable, and it also rewards people to participate in our auctions. So this is just a fantastic system, and we will have a Discord channel where we do post the daily auction, what's going on with it.
Yep.
But also raffles. This is going to be an expansion for us. We're also working on the raffle system right now, and it most likely will not be live when we do launch the auction house. So raffles will be utilized in our rolling system, and also our our RT system. So we're gonna have raffle specific rigs, which is independent from the auction. So what that means is that those rigs are purely meant for raffles, right? So we're gonna expand on that rig solely, and the timeline and all that stuff, all the specifics in this cannot be totally spilled right now, because we're still working on the mechanisms in place. But yeah, raffles is just another way for the little guys, the guys who have not as much voltage or not as many NFTs, to participate in the ecosystem, right? And raffles is not just runtime. It's going to also be possibly NFTs, merch, and other rewards, such as mining equipment, mining hardware. And exactly here, mining hardware, this is going to be another expansion for us. It's not going to be launched right off the bat, but holders will be able to use voltage to bid on mining hardware, and auction winners can win GPUs, ASICs, and other computer parts. And raffles for the mining hardware is going to be 10 voltage per ticket. So, the reason why our phase 1 fleet is what we like to call it, is going to be mainly comprised of GPUs, is one, it's going to be really profitable, and two, Ethereum might move off of proof of work very quickly. People are speculating June to July. So if that does happen, then we have things for us to raffle off. We have GPUs ready to raffle off to our holders, right? So, we're positioning ourselves to raffle a portion of our GPUs off when Ethereum does move off of proof of work. And then we're going to keep some to mine altcoins, right? So we're going to not only be mining altcoins and such and such if Ethereum does move away. We also get to raffle them away. So yeah, with this going GPU heavy initially, this gives us a lot of flexibility, and it gives us really good a lot of equipment ready to raffle off. And we said that you also get 1-of-1 art. And what does that mean? So, when you bid on the auction house, you're not just bidding on runtime, right? You're going to be bidding on also art. So only citizen holders can submit art to the auction house. And this art will be chosen by us HVW staff. And the winner will receive 100 voltage. So only citizen holders can have this utility. HVW holders, you need to own a citizen for you to do this. But yeah, every Friday, also, we're going to have all the holders. We're going to be able to vote together on art submissions, and that winner will win 300 voltage. So if you're a citizen holder and you have fantastic 1-of-1 art or something, or you have memes or photos or whatever, you can submit that in the art submissions channel, and we can pick you. If we pick you, then you're earning 10x voltage than you would, or 30x voltage, right? And accepted submissions, anything. What does that mean? We literally mean anything. So here's are some example of the things going into the auction house. So it could be memes, it could be photography, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be amazing art. It could just be art that we just want to pick for that day, right? If we're feeling it. So I used to be a photographer, a professional photographer for several years. Here's one of my photos. A community member, his name is Spike. This is one of his photos. He's also a photographer. He's fantastic. We have some 1-of-1 art from two of my favorite 1-of-1 artists, Archangel and Outcast. And Outcast, you said you're going to show up, so if you're here, hi. But yeah, Outcast and Archangel. It's also, this platform is not only just a community building mechanism, because you guys have something to look forward to every day. Submit art. You guys get to look at memes people are posting. Whatever. It's a way for you guys to earn voltage, and also is a platform for possible community members to show off their 1-of-1 art, and use the HV community to build their brand or build their name. Because I know a lot of HV members, they have projects that they have in mind, and we would love to support you guys, and this is a great mechanism to support you guys. But we have the egg down memes, and Dior. Here's Blackout Burger as a burgle. I drew this yesterday. And yeah, and here's a piece of 1-of-1 art we got from our friends over at
Trash
Pandas. Yeah. So
our friend Cosmic made that.
Cosmic made that for us. So yeah.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind with high voltage and kind of our philosophy when it comes to the community is we want to be able to enable you guys, right? And we saw this as a good way to kill kind of two birds with one stone, right? So what we wanted to do with the auction house is be like, okay, yeah, we want to give away runtime. So how can we give away runtime? Well, we can give them an NFT, right? And with this NFT, we can enable artists or people who are really good at memes, right? Like we had some really good memes coming with EggDAO, right? Like we want to be able to enable you guys and give you guys a platform to kind of give you the limelight, right? So for 24 hours, people are putting up bids for your art. While it does give them runtime, so there's an additional bonus for those people, they do get that NFT. So if they wanted the Borgles, right, like that's a Blackout Burger's Borgle right there, right? Someone could win that and then rep that as a PFP if they want, right? Like it's a cool system that we think could have it benefits the community a lot, right? We think it's a good engagement engine. We think it's a good way to give people exposure and just bring more value to the high voltage community.
And we do have some growth plans for this mechanism we're putting in place. We won't totally reveal it today, but yeah, supporting community members, supporting HVW is the biggest thing ever. And if I saw this in submissions, this egg holding a gun, smoking a joint, I would pick this. So yeah, that shit's epic. High voltage in the future, and Socrates can take this right here.
Yeah. So when it comes to high voltage, we are not really we're not going to be following a concrete roadmap. One thing we've learned through our experience with launching our own NFT and following through with our roadmap and things like that is that typically what a roadmap does, and all it really does, is constrict you, right? All it really does is like, now you feel obligated to meet this deadline when that's no longer needed, or it's actually detrimental to your project, and it just makes things harder for constructive development of the project itself. So what we're going to be doing is following what we call a blueprint model. Some other projects have been picking up on this, namely things like OK Bears has something like a blueprint here. But we're going to be utilizing a blueprint moving forward, and it has currently 5 main goals. These include 1, consistently expanding our mining fleet. This is our core utility of our project. It is Bitcoin or just any cryptocurrency mining. So that's a big part for us. We always plan to put money back into expanding our mining fleet and giving more real world utility to our NFTs. We also plan on building out the utility for Voltage. So as we mentioned, and actually it's another point on here, this is something like giving the expeditions to the citizens. This is adding an entirely new ecosystem. This is just things along those lines, right? Just more things you can do with Voltage and giving more value to not only the token, but also to your NFT. And then full automation of the High Voltage Worlds auction house. As Jericho mentioned earlier in this discussion, it is expected that we won't have full automation immediately, but we do plan on getting there very, very quickly, and expect to have that online and be able to show you guys the potential of a model like this. And yeah, so that's that point. And then expedition utilities, or what we call staking 2.0 for our citizens. An example of this kind of things are just the missions from like Famous Fox. And I think there are a few other NFTs out there that have like staking mission kind of things. Yeah, things like that. It's just things that gamify the staking system, so you're not just pressing a button and forgetting about it. It's something that could bring you back and keep you more engaged with our NFT and our ecosystem. And then launching the High Voltage Worlds merch store. We've showed teasers before about our patch. We're still working on that. We're getting that we're getting that online as soon as possible. We're gonna have some pretty cool hoodies available for you guys. I think you'll like it a lot. But yeah, so those are kind of the core things we have on our mind right now. This is by no means everything we want to do with the project. This is just a kind of idea of where we're going and give you kind of just a more direction about what's happening with the project and where we're going next, right? Because we just finished minting Citizens, and Citizens was a big step for us. So now that we have that and that enables us, we can move forward with the project.
And following our blueprint, we met a lot of deliverables already. We've purchased the ASIC miners you guys saw today that I posted that picture. We've actually had those ASICs for a little bit now, but we wanted to wait until the citizens came in. So now we can start, prepping all the utility we're going to push out hard, which we have been working on before citizens have came online. But yeah, it's going to be a really great Solana summer for us, and we've been prepping really hard for this. And Citizens was a humongous step for us, and it could not have gone any better, right? We literally, minted off nearly instantly, and yeah, it was great. But here's the next point here: improving. We're not on top of the world. And Socrates, what can we improve on?
Yeah. So one thing we can improve. These are the list of 4 key points that we believe we can improve on. We do understand we're not a flawless project. We are a small team trying to take on big goals, and we understand that there are some things that we can do better. And so these are, in relation to the last slide in our blueprint, some other things we can improve on and keep refining within our project. Number 1 is education. A key problem with our NFT is that it's kind of complicated, and people get confused about what we offer and what we don't offer and things like that. So one key thing we're trying to do is make our project easier to understand. A good way of doing this is if you looked into the Discord recently, we did a little bit of remodeling. I don't think that remodeling will be ending anytime soon. We're trying to make things as easy as possible to understand. We're going to be having more graphics. We're going to be having just more intuitive design. And I think that will give people, or lower the bar of entry into our project and make us a more inclusive and engaging community. Number 2 is marketing. This is improving and leveraging our own brand to grow. We, as High Voltage, are still kind of finding what our vibe is, what our image is, and how we want to leverage that to best encourage other people to join our community, right? A big reason of why we did the High Voltage World Citizens Collection is to give our holders a face, right? Because we didn't have that before. The like cats or things people could identify with were the citizens within the world's NFTs. So we had people like zoom into the world's NFTs and take screenshots and make them their PFP. And it's like, dog, we don't want you to do that, man. Like we want you to have something you can rep, you can identify with, right? So that's one thing we wish we did differently about the collection. It's maybe have been a PFP, but we're long beyond that. So we're just moving forward at this point. But that's in general what we're looking to do on marketing. It's mainly just push that organic marketing, give the founders more opportunities to talk in different places, Twitter Spaces, AMAs, things like that, as well as just push our brand on Twitter and things along those lines. Kind of like the typical organic growth avenues you might see, all while strengthening our identity. So our third point is engagement. So we are really, really trying to make our community a place where people want to be. It's already being that, but we want it to be more inclusive. We want it to be where more holders are active. We want it to be where there's multiple reasons to come back to our community every day, and then in turn bring value to not only the community members, but to the community itself, right? Because the community is only made of the people within it. So if we can make them high value or they provide value or whatever, we can grow as a collective. So we want to provide more ways for them to stay within our community. And these are things like we just mentioned, like the art, like voting for the art or submitting art for our 101 NFTs and things along those lines. So that's some stuff we're working on as well. Another good example of an engagement strategy that was actually successful was our Easter egg hunt, right? We put together an Easter egg hunt for our holders, our high voltage worlds holders. Yeah, because citizens hadn't come out at that time. Our world holders could hop between Discord servers and find clues, and then they would take them to a new Discord server where they solve a new riddle, and if they got to the end, they won an egg NFT. So we plan on having more things like that to keep everyone engaged and make high voltage somewhere people want to be.
I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of the eggs already.
Yeah, for sure. And for number 4, this is the partnerships, and this is just collaborating with other DAOs and projects within the space. Because one thing that's always so important to remember, especially as a project owner, is this is not a competition. We're all here to grow together, and we think that leveraging other, or not really leveraging them, but being with other DAOs and projects is mutually beneficial and is something we should utilize more often. Right? Like just recently, we did a space with Wastelanders, Necrobotics, and I think there's one other project.
Secret Sphinx.
Yeah, Secret Sphinx, and it was really constructive conversation. We learned a lot from each other's experiences, and I think it's a good way to help grow the project.
And Baroku.
We did and we did one with Boryoku as well. And I think all of those experiences are just really good ways to not only spread the word, but also just help us be more thorough with our project and give people a better understanding of what's happening, and give us as the founders a wider view or a wider perspective of the way people view our project and how to best approach that.
Sure.
And then I think this is probably the last slide. One thing we are doing right now is we're kind of going into growth mode. So we just finished the Citizens Collection, and we're looking to hire new staff. So our current, just recently on staff members are HV Cole. We've actually had him on the team for a long time, but he is promoted to the community leader position, and he will be our effective head mod. I don't think we have him as the title as that, but that's effectively what he'll be doing. He'll be onboarding more moderators so that we have a stronger staff team and we can accommodate for our ever-growing community. And then we have brought on board Cobot. He will be helping us with whitelist bots, and it will function as effectively a DAO representative in bringing more collaborations online. Some additional staff positions we're looking for, particularly from our own community, are alpha hunters, another developer, sticker and emoji artist, as well as moderators. So if any of these positions are particularly interesting to you, please let us know, open a ticket, and we'll be more than happy to accommodate for you, or at least ask you some questions and get the ball rolling on what that process looks like.
Yeah, for sure. And we, like Socrates says, we are in growth mode, and we have a lot of utility that we are pushing out. And our main objective right now is definitely the auction house, but we also want to be doing other development besides just the auction house, right? So yeah, we're getting on a second dev to help out with that. A big thing with us initially was alpha. Like, we have a Worlds Out treasury where we fill it up with money, and then the HVW holders can vote on that. So we need some really good alpha And I already know like a lot of people who would be great for the position of moderator. So we have like wonderful moderators like Hangjack, like Maiko. Those guys are the model moderators. So if you guys love the project, know a lot about the project, and would love to help, then yeah, definitely open a ticket. But yeah, that is the end, guys. If you guys have any questions, like this was a lot to unpack about everything, really. So if you guys have any questions, just send them out in the HVW Outsider chat, the Twitch chat, or the YouTube chat. We're gonna be looking through all of it. Can I alt tab? Am I allowed to alt tab? Is that gonna?
I don't know, did you just alt tab?
I just alt tab. I'm looking at Twitch right now. I think
I can start saying some questions. When is staking live?
So with staking, it will be live soon. Okay, it's gonna be live soon. And the reason why we don't want to just launch staking just right off the bat is because we want to have a timeline of actually delivering the utility with staking. But when I mean soon, it is really, really soon. Okay, so just watch out for staking.
Yeah. Can we make money off of voltage? I saw you bought some expensive miners.
So with voltage, you can use voltage to participate in the auction house, and in the auction house you can bid on the rig time or the rig runtime, and with that you could claim the mining profits of that runtime, right? So yes, with voltage you can, but are we going to be listing on a DEX? No, we're not going to be listing on a DEX. We're going to take a very DeGod-esque approach where we want to prove the utility, have it within its own ecosystem. 1 voltage equals 1 voltage. And then possibly in the future, we'll be listing on DEX, and you can sell your voltage for Solana.
Yeah. Additional question. Wait, so you have to pay for something on auction to have passive income from rigs? Why can't it just be redistributed to holders?
So, okay, with rev share with ASIC miners is ASIC miners do not produce as much money as people think, because I own a mining company already, Vulcan, and crypto mining is not like super glamorous, and it does not yield the most. However, crypto mining is incredibly stable, right? So let's say we did rev share all the ASIC miners to every single holder, people would not be making like any money. And also it puts us at legal risk because there's a lot of legal complication that brings, right? So a lot of projects with rev share models, they would not fly under current SEC guidelines, and we want to be compliant. We do not want to get hit when the government comes and knocks on crypto's door when they finally do. This is going to happen. So that's one reason why. And the other reason, other thing that our miners do is that they fund the World's DAO treasury. So if you're an HVW holder, you do benefit from essentially the rev share of Bitcoin mining. It's just not directly. The Bitcoin mining funds the DAO treasury. They vote on it. If it ever gets liquidated, HVW holders can claim the Solana that comes out of it.
And one thing to keep in mind, and I've seen some confusion about this, is the rigs that go into the auction house are different from the rigs that fuel the World's DAO treasury. Those are two different things, right? So we have ASICs that we just bought that go into the World's DAO treasury. The rigs that we are working on purchasing or are purchasing even now are going to be going into the auction house. So it's entirely different. Two different things.
For sure.
Okay. And why the auction? Just as Jericho said, there's several reasons. One, it makes more sense from a returns perspective, because if we just gave everyone equal payout from the Bitcoin, you'll be getting a negligible amount of money. You could go back into our old calculators if you want. It's in our old white paper. It just doesn't make sense. The reason I'm just not going to go in detail because it'll take a while to explain why. I mean, you can go back in some of our past AMAs and we discuss why, but just trust us in that it makes more sense to go for the auction house for the returns perspective, because whenever we split it amongst 1,000 holders or something like that, everyone's making like $5 max. So it makes more sense. Yeah,
a month. Yeah. So
they're not. Yeah.
Yeah, with the auction house, it creates a lot of game theory dynamic. It's not just going to be big guys always winning. There's going to be, there's a lot of different things you could do with voltage. and it just makes us more compliant, or helps with compliance, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have stats of the rigs or hash rates, trying to get an idea of what we might be looking at? So when our GPU rigs are live, we will have I'll have a spreadsheet, so you guys can easily reference that. We have a very basic spreadsheet live in our white paper right now. The current ASICs we hold are 104 terahash S19J Pros. We have 2 of those, and then we're getting rigs currently, and going from there.
Yeah, so the S19J Pros, we did purchase them at a pretty big discount, about $2,000 discount per rig. So we saved HVW $4,000, so it's not bad. But yeah, we are aggressively expanding that right now.
And upgrading worlds is still a thing. So this is an expansion plan. This is a development opportunity in the future. We plan on having an upgrading system. More details are to be provided at a later date. But I expect this to come out. No projection, actually. I'm not going to give you even a remote date, but it would be after the auction house. It wouldn't be anytime soon. It would be after that rollout for sure. Someone asked, 1 citizen equals 10 voltage per day. Yes, that is true. If yes, 10 citizens can generate 100 voltage per day. So it's cheapest way to generate voltage without buying citizen. I'm not entirely sure what you mean.
So, there's the game theory with this is, if you're looking at this as purely a voltage play, then, for example, citizens at 0.2 compared to the floor of the D tier, it's more advantageous to buy the citizens over the D tier of HVW. If you're looking at purely voltage play, but HVW has its own benefits, citizens have their own benefits. So that's not entirely true, but voltage, yes, at this current price, I think citizens are worth it to buy right now over worlds from purely voltage, but I need to do the math on that. I think so.
Yeah. And one thing to keep in mind with citizens is it's not designed as a voltage mechanism. We designed citizens to be an easy buy-in to the high voltage worlds community. Because one thing we absolutely do not want to do with our whole ecosystem is price people out. Because whenever you price people out, you just lack that diversity, right? The thing about our high voltage worlds collection is we're small. We have 777 NFTs and we have about 200 holders. Okay, so the way for us to get more holders and therefore grow our brand is to have the PFP collection. As a low buy-in, no one is really priced out. It's only about $20. So everyone can come and join the community, and we've seen this be successful already. Our chats are so much more alive now that we have the citizens holders, and people are more engaged. They have something to identify with. It's just been all around success. So I wouldn't treat the citizens as entirely a voltage mechanism, because that's not how they were designed. And I don't think that's a fair evaluation of what they are. This guy said, or one person says, the high voltage worlds NFT should give more voltage. We're not going to be changing the model. We already designed it. And then, yeah, I believe that's it on YouTube. Scroll back up on Twitch.
Oh, this person does on YouTube, does Rarity matter? Rarity is purely cosmetic for both NFTs, or for both collections, but on Worlds, there's going to be the asset called the warehouse asset that matters more. The higher tier your warehouse is, you can generate more voltage. And for the for the Citizens collection, there's 1-of-1 NFTs. They generate more voltage, and they are essentially more rare, but it's not necessarily rarity. It's just tier.
Yeah. Micro asked, is the amount of voltage tokens is it 21 million forever, or is there a burn process?
Yeah, so right now, there's no currently burn mechanism, but what happens to the voltage when it, let's say, somebody wins a bit or wins the auction for 10,000 voltage, what happens to the voltage? It actually just gets moved to our treasury wallet, and we can do, whatever we, need to do with that voltage. It gives us flexibility. So not necessarily a burn mechanism, but we do take it.
Yeah, it does exit circulation.
Yeah, it does exit her circulation, yes.
Yeah. So it's effectively burning, but it doesn't actually leave existence.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, citizens rarity doesn't matter other than the one-of-ones. Yeah, so that's another clarification point. People keep asking us about that. If you have an epic, a legendary, an uncommon, a common, it doesn't matter for staking. It is just the only thing that matters is if it's a one-of-one or not. If it's not a one-of-one, it's 10 voltage. If it's a one-of-one, it's 270 voltage. And the reason we did this once again is to, one, not make things more complicated, and two, keep consistent the idea of making the citizens an easy buy into the community. We don't want people to come in and then have to consider rarities and then go on Soul Rarity and type in a million numbers to try to find the rarest one or whatever. We don't want people to do that, right? The only people that actually benefit from those people are like scalpers or like whales and things like that. And we want to appeal to normal people, right? To make it easy to come into the high voltage ecosystem. And I think that's just one way of doing it, is just make it simple. Make it simple. And then the way we make it complicated is expeditions. And those aren't even though like that's a whole other thing to talk about, but we won't be giving much information about that just yet.
Michael asked, "Where is Kirby?" Twice. Kirby's in my other room, bro. He's gone.
And then Michael asked, if someone wins the bid on a rig, does it not go to the DAO? And I mentioned earlier, so the rigs for the auction house are different from the ASICs we use to fuel the DAOs. They're two different things. So they don't, like, you're not bidding on the ASICs for the DAOs. That's not what happens. You bid on a completely different set of miners. Which coin are we going to mine, Jericho?
Yeah, so predominantly right away with this GPU rig is going to be Ethereum. We will have some ASIC miners. We did get two S19Js, which is on SHA-256. That's mining Bitcoin. And yeah, so it's going to be mostly those two for now. And we are going to have plans to expand into our altcoins like Kadena, Decred. And also, what if ETH does go off of proof of work, then we are going to be looking to mine, Ethereum Classic, Octopus, stuff like that.
Yeah. Someone mentioned, I just saw a tab back over to YouTube. They asked, in the auction house, it will not be fair when someone can have many A tiers when someone else just have a citizen. And that's why we're going to be incorporating the raffle system. The raffle system, I mean, you can buy more raffle tickets if you hold more of something, but it is another shot to give people, like the citizens, a way to use their voltage and be more engaged that way. So we do plan right now. I can see how there's a little bit more of a whale bias in our system. We do plan on incorporating more things for people with less voltage to be able to do. Right. So if you just go ahead.
With like the voltage, like A tiers making more. I mean yeah, like they're gonna make more, but the A tiers is gonna be worth more as well. So rewards those early holders, the adopters who bought an A tier at 2 Sol, they're really getting rewarded now, right? Because now the A tiers are generating more voltage, they are going to be more valuable. And also with citizens, don't count them out like entirely, because staking right now is 10 voltage per citizen, but citizens are going to be able to do missions. I do see a question from Michael about expeditions. Sorry, not missions, expeditions. Yeah. When our citizens going to be able to do expeditions? We won't give you an exact timeline on that yet. Biggest thing is the auction house. Once we launch the auction house, we're going to do a whole new, timeline on a whole new project update of our next goal. But everything comes after the auction house. That's the biggest thing for us.
Yep. Someone asked, when is staking? It's really soon. We always get that question. It is really soon, guys. It's pretty soon. It's pretty soon. And let's see here. Where can I submit art? So you can't submit art yet. I think it's probably going to be like the first week or so of the auction house. We do all the art in-house, and then we're going to open it up to the community for you guys to submit art. But we will let you guys know via announcement when that comes, and then we can get the ball rolling there. You wouldn't lose voltage losing an auction bid, right? No, you don't lose you won't lose your voltage.
It will come back. Yeah, it will come back.
You'll get it back. Smart. Staking before auctions, yes. Yeah, the staking will go live before the auction house goes live.
Absolutely.
How long will we have to wait for the expeditions? We don't have a timeline for that yet, but it will be after the auction house.
Yeah. Meko asks, I mean to, he says, The auction winner gets 1 of 1. So over time, all of HVC going to be 1 of 1. So not quite. So I'll go back to the 1 of 1 tab. So all the 1 of 1s this is just a community engagement and exposure and interaction mechanism, right? And this also gives us stuff to post on Twitter too, so it's really cool. But yeah, this is gonna be its own collection, I guess. It's gonna be its own 1 of 1
Like
collection.
the auction house collection. We haven't
Yeah.
come up with a name yet.
We haven't come up with the name of it yet, but people can buy it off a secondary if they'd like to. But we're not really focusing too much on the secondary market aspect of it. It's purely this community engagement aspect of it.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, these won't be stakeable. So if you win an auction, you get one of these NFTs. Having the NFT. So how the system works is if you have the winning NFT, you're gonna get airdropped the amount of Solana that you're allotted from the runtime. So these are not going to be stakeable. They're literally going to be JPEGs, or I guess if someone wants to do video or like a GIF or something, I think we could also do that probably. I don't know what that looks like on the back end, but regardless, these are not stakeable. They're purely art pieces that you can have in NFT form. So, yeah. Let's see.
Outcast did come. How about Outcast?
Yeah.
I am Asian. Please give me my whitelist.
Let's see. So who made the citizens in terms of art? The artist actually chose not to be disclosed. So we're respecting the artist, and we're not going to give out any information regarding the artist.
Looks dope though.
It does look really cool. I mean, I want to give them credit, but they asked us politely not to do so. So we won't be doing that. Let's see. And yeah. Okay. And then once again, there's more discussion in these chats about like the tier-based rarity system, but we're very resolute about not tier-based, the rarity-based yield. We're very resolute about our position. We do not plan on adding rarity-based yield. We don't think it's true to our vision as high voltage. As high voltage, it is important to remember that we are a community of fundamentalists, builders, and we're diamond hand bastards, right? If we added tier-based, like it just doesn't follow our mission. It's not something we need to do, so why do it, right? It's one extra moving part. It's one extra layer of additional complexity. And although there are benefits, there are other negatives. So it's better for us to just not bring that into the collection and rather go with the standard, typical kind of fundamental approach to it. Okay. So now, are there any questions in the Discord? Okay, so we did move verification platforms. So if you are in our server and you did the Sololand verification, please go through and do the Magica verification. We're not going to go into too much detail about why we made the switch. One of the key reasons is to have more consistent verification. That was a big issue we had with Sololand. People were having difficulties all the time connecting to their services, and it was taking time out of our moderators' day. So it's just from a time perspective, switched to Magica. There's no other reason for it. I mean, there's not really any key reasons for it other than that. It's just to keep our community better ingrained in our system and keep.
But today, after this AMA, we are going to be removing the old holder roles. So if you are a verified, if you only have the old holder roles, we are removing that, and you're going to lose all access to holder chat and all the community chats. So you're going to need to re-verify to Magica. Yeah, we're making a complete switch to Magica. In the long term, it's going to be much, much better for the collection and much, much better for everyone, especially us in a times perspective. But yeah, we will be after the same May. We are removing the old rules, and a lot of people will lose access. So make sure to verify Magica. I'll ping it in outside chat.
Yep. Let's see. One egg DAO. Yeah, one egg DAO soon. Let's see. Is there anything else here? I think that might be it from questions. Let's see.
On YouTube, it's someone asked, will you be able to upgrade citizens for more voltage? That's not in the immediate timeline. I mean, that's not really on our mind right now. The main thing with citizens is that they get to go on expeditions. The thing with worlds is that they get to be upgraded. So they both have their own unique voltage mechanism.
Drizzle said, "Is the art from the presentation slide valid for next submissions?" Yes. If you're talking about some of the memes, I think that we stole from our community to put on here. Yeah, definitely. All any of these could be put up, right? If you wanted to do the egg down meme or anything like that.
So like we're not gonna take existing NFTs. We're not gonna take literally Outcast. This is just an example. We're not gonna literally take his one of one. But we will. We'll take a Burgle. We'll take a Dior. But this was just for example. If you steal art, we're not picking you.
Yeah, but please don't do that. But yeah. Okie dokie. I think that's it. I think I might be in. Can you find any additional questions? I can't find anything else.
Yeah. You see, Drizzle says rip beanie.
Yep. I think that's it. We got.
I think that's it.
All right, we're in for like an hour exactly. Wow.
If you guys have any more questions, we'll give it like maybe 2 more minutes, and then you guys can ask whatever. And we're gonna close the stream down. This is recorded, so it's gonna be uploaded later in AMA recap. You want to go back and look at some points.
Yeah. A question came in through YouTube. Is there going to be a specific role specified after Magica Verify? So right now, if you only verified using Sololand, you have the old. I called it old verified, or what did I call it? Old holder or something like that, or old world founder or whatever. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be deleting all of these Sololand verified roles and only have the Magica verified roles. So you will have to go through Magica. We have a channel and a walkthrough, not a video walkthrough, but a text walkthrough about how to go about doing it. And then it's pretty easy. All you do is connect your wallet and I think your Discord to that account, and then you're done. But yeah, it's super easy. You'll get your new roles, and then all the perms are already set up, so you got nothing to worry about there. Can people unstake when they want or no? We do not have lock staking.
Yeah, no lock staking.
Yeah.
It's
just normal staking.
Why don't you tell us what you have long hair? I always had long hair, bro. We both have really long. Yeah. Socrates has a really long hair. He's super long hair. You just can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I always have it tied up during this. But yeah. Worlds and citizens, is there any mints in the future? So there are ideas of minting additional citizens. Not in this collection. It would be a whole different collection. But in terms of worlds, we can't give you an answer.
And with the citizens, by the way, if we do mint additional citizens, do not think there would be voltage integration with those citizens in terms of them staking. Just saying, we are not looking to really dilute the staking mechanism anymore. Like we're not having more citizens generate more voltage, so keep that in mind.
Yeah. So the most likely the only things generating voltage are going to be the Genesis Citizens collection and the Genesis Worlds collections. That's why they're called the Genesis collections. And so do not bank on additional things that gives you more tokens or anything along those lines. So yeah, for sure. Do we have to stake each day? You press the button once and pretty much forget about it. You can collect voltage from our staking platform. What about stats? Stats from pre-so. Oh, okay. So you want to know stats on citizens? We could actually have that at our next AMA. To be honest, we just kind of didn't include it here. We have the information, but I don't want to get the numbers wrong, so I'm not going to throw things out. So we can give stats about citizens at the next AMA, like things like the average holder count and how many holders we have, how many they hold, and so on and so forth. We can do that for sure.
Okay. I think that's fully it. There's no more questions on Discord. YouTube or Twitch. We will be releasing more white papers, light papers. We're gonna have a whole light paper just about the HVW auction house, and we're gonna include that in the Discord. We're gonna have more channels that you're gonna be seeing in the Discord as well. So yeah, just look out for more Discord changes. We did post a holder announce for Inspect. So go on Twitter, download Inspect, and vote for us. And you can find that holder announce. But I think that's basically it right there. Thank you guys so much for coming. That was great.
Yeah, for sure. And if anyone else has any questions, always ask a ticket, ask in any of the chats. And we're more than, let's say, ask a ticket, open a ticket, and then ask anywhere. We're always receptive. So for sure.
All right. But I think that is going to be it, guys. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. And this is recorded, so you will not miss out. You can come back and watch this if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube. But yeah,
yep,
take care, guys.
For sure. Have a great rest of your day, y'all.
Running back to my old life, but you leaves it burning. Speaking tongues in my head, yeah, that's the way you want it. She called me babies, you're not wasting time. But how could I let her go? Don't you know I might adore you? I'm gonna make the time move slower. We can do whatever, yeah, sun's out, make the clouds move.